Takes a second. I don't know why it does that. All right, it's
Yeah.
working.
First few seconds of your videos seem to always be a little
Messed up. Hi guys, Tiffany here.
frozen.
Welcome to my quilting life. I am back with part 2 of making a Lonestar quilt. So let's make a Lonestar quilt. So part 2, if you're new to my channel, subscribe, like, share my videos, comment if you're watching the replays, and don't forget to watch part 1 if this is the first time you're seeing part 2, because you need to see 1 to know where part 2 starts.
Hi Heather. Heather says hi. Jim
So
says
I will
hi.
wait for everybody to get on, and while I'm waiting for everybody to rejoin for part 2 on how to put together one of the blocks, I'll do as many as I can on video, but the rest we don't have to do on video, because once you know how to put one together, you know how to put all 8 together. So while I wait for people to come back, remember the 4 patches we just made in video 1? I'm going to trim away now the dog ear. Only one singular dog ear on every single one of these on the side because of the way it's pressed. The other one is folded inward. So all I need to do now is take my scissors and snip it away. I'm just going to snip all these away real quick. And then I can get started sewing it together. But for now, I want to snip these away while I wait for people to join.
Brenda said she was just watching part 1 and then saw you come on, I guess.
Yep, I told you I wouldn't be long. I just needed to go potty, eat, and smoke. And that was it. I am done doing all that. So I'm coming back on. It's not that I have a deadline on this quilt, but I do have myself a personal, I've been taking too long and should have done this a long time ago problem going on. It's in my head. I don't have a complete deadline as long as it's done by next month. So I try to make sure I get things done when I can get them done. Right now I'm just snipping off the dog ear off all, well, there's not totally 40 here because I got the ones on the other thing already off screen and set them back in place so that I can turn the camera down so that you can see. All I'm doing is snipping the dog ear off because it is not needed and it's going to get in the way with the piecing anyway. So to make sure everything lines up nicely, we'll just get rid of it now while everybody joins. Who do we got here?
Ironing anything?
Can you start from the beginning? Who we got here?
Yeah, am I going to be ironing anything? Did you want me to tell you?
Yeah, not for a while though.
Oh, did you just want me to tell you?
Yeah, just tell me.
Oh, Heather.
Hi,
Jim,
Heather. Hi, Jim.
Kim.
Hi, Kim.
June.
Hi, June.
Brenda.
Hi, Brenda.
Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie.
And that's it so far.
And that's it so far. Well, hello, everybody.
You didn't have to copy everything I said there.
It's okay to be silly.
Shirley.
Hi, Shirley. So all I'm doing is snipping these away. Remember, these blocks need, these 4 patch blocks need to finish at 3 inch, and the measurement for that 3 inch is from the sides, not from top to bottom, not from any angle, but from this side to this side. And obviously you're seeing the back, but this is where it measures from 3 inches. It's from here to here. Okay. Just
Elena's
so that
back.
everybody
She
knows.
says round 2. Hi all.
Who?
Elena
Hi, Elena.
from the UK, remember?
Yep. So I'm just trimming these up. They all came out pretty darn good for chain piecing and not pinning. But if you feel the need, you need to pin, be my guest. You know, not everything is going to be perfect. This is not a show quilt. This is just me being creative like always and sharing my creativity with you. And if you haven't noticed, if you are in the group, I did share 2 photos of the one of the directions, one of the diamond, and I drew it out in Sharpie so you can see it very good. It's nice and clear. The diamond with all the letters and where everything goes. If you want to copy, you know, it and do this same exact thing with your own couple of colors. It's a 6 color diamond.
June was watching you on part 1 also. She says you were having problems, so she found you for part 2.
Yeah.
Bonnie's starting a quilt top for a friend.
Okay, so all of those are now
Holy
trimmed.
Lamb says hello from Missouri.
And I did it on the paper. Who said that?
Holy Lamb.
Hello,
That's an
Holy
interesting
Lamb.
name. Hello.
All right, so just for a recap, this is what we're doing. I shared a photo in the Facebook group. So if you want to make the same exact thing with 6 colors with fabric in the same color eye sight, and then this is the directions. I took pictures of these and posted them in the Facebook group for all of you to see. So if you are in the group, that is the best way to get the directions to go along with the video. This is just the cutting directions.
Hi, Darlene.
The
Darlene
sewing
says
directions obviously is all video because it's better. I'm a visual person and I'm pretty sure a lot of you are too. You need a video to go along with patterns, right? So it's easier to just follow a video.
Hi, Beverly. Hi, Judy.
So I'm going to turn the camera down and I'm going to point things out again so that you can see. This is a 6 across by 6 down. You can see that block. That's all it is. It's just a block. It's just not square. It is a big, huge diamond. So it goes E, A, B, C, D, E, and then the 4 patches are made of D and W. W is for white because white is the big color in everything. It's the background color, but I wanted it to run through the diamonds. So we got the D and W, and then we back down to C, B, A, and E. Okay, so that is how we're going to do this. And now it's time to start sewing it together. And just because this is a video, I think I'm just going to do one at a time so that way you guys can see. And then I'll show you how on the next block, I'll show you how to hook all the pieces together and keep them together as you sew them. But for now, we'll just sew one at a time. So let's go over to the sewing machine so that you can see. And if you guys want, I can zoom it in if you want me to, so that you can see very much better. If you want, just let me know. I don't have to if you guys like it like this, because I know you can see from here, and I do my best to hold things up and
Real quick, Brenda wants to
explain.
know if you could show me close up on the ruler where 1 3/4 is on the ruler when you were cutting the strips. I'm a beginner and need to learn how to read the ruler.
Okay, can you see this paper and this ruler very well? Okay, let me get it closer. Let me get it closer. Oh, that's hard to read. Give me
You
something.
need a different ruler. Yeah, use that one with black. That will work.
Can you see this? This should be better. All right, here's 1 inch. And you can see on this ruler, it has so many little tiny markings. Okay, pay attention to all those little markings. And don't mind these numbers. I'm reading it to you from the backwards side. So this is 1 inch, this square right here. This is the 2 inch. Just before the 2 inch, there's the 7/8 marking, which is that little tiny one. And then there's the 3/4 inch marking. Okay, so you would go 1, there's a quarter, there's half, there's 3/4. And I know I have to put my finger on it. There's my nail sitting on that line. That's the 3/4 inch mark. So you'd go over 1 3/4 like that.
Elena says it could be 6/8 too. Yep, that also works.
Yep.
6/8 is
However you
3/4.
want to see it. And on this ruler, it's a little bit harder to see because it's shiny, but here's 1 inch. And then you would come over. Here's a quarter. Here's a half. Here's 3/4. Okay, because this is only a 2.5 ruler here. So 3/4 of an inch is that marking right there. Okay. Hope that helped. And when you're done, this is how they measure. Just like this. Oops, this is not the right piece, but this, so you can see, that's 3 inches. See, it lands on the 3-inch mark right there.
Holy Lamb says your nails
Okay.
look great.
Thank you. I just got them done.
Yep, she did.
I needed a different color.
She gets lots of compliments
So,
on her nails.
these
Thank you,
ones
Deb.
are
She
called-
appreciates it.
This color is called Astral Blast. Like, it's a purple, and it's got sparklies in it in the light. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's called Astral Blast. In one color, it looks like a matte, and the other way it looks shiny. It's pretty cool.
I asked him if Slow Down Joe was back, but I haven't heard anything, so I guess she's not here yet.
That's fine. She'll see. She
I'm
knows.
sure she
She'll see
will.
all the videos.
I'm sure.
Okay, so that you don't lose your place, this is the best way I can tell you guys to do this. Keep your chart near you somewhere so that you don't get anything mixed up. And I'm going to pull from all the way on the far side of this block, because every time I lay it out, I'm going to be laying out like this, just the way you saw it. So I'm going to pull from the far side, and I'm going to pull, this is the hard part I want you to see. I'm going to pull this piece and this piece. So this right here, which is a D, is going to go over the E, oops, like this. And I'm going to sew it. Then the E is going to go over the D and W, and I'm going to sew it like that. Then the D and W piece is going to go over the C piece like that, and I'll be sewing it. So all these are going to be going like this, and I'm going to sew them individually instead of, no, I'm going to chain piece them, but then I'm going to pop them so that you can see how it gets put together. So we're going to start right up here with this top piece. And Scott, can you tip the camera back to the sewing machine for me, please?
Of course.
So
you want your head in?
Yeah. So just like when we did the little 4 patches,
Oh, it's so tight.
all diamonds need to be pieced together with, when you have these ends, that little piece needs to be hanging over 1/4 of an inch. And if you don't know that it's 1/4 of an inch, then you can measure it, or you can mark it, or you can pin it and then fold it back at 1/4 inch and make sure that you have one continuous line on both sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball 1/4 of an inch hanging off on each side, creating a V, and I'm going to start my needle at the top of this V right here. So if I put the ruler right here, my needle's going to come in right here, and it's going to be 1/4 inch all the way. And if I measured it just like this, my needle will come down, and look, it's exactly 1/4 inch where my needle will be all the way down. So if you want to be absolutely 100% sure the whole entire time you make this, that is how you do that. So I'm going to put this in.
Marina was watching the first part too, and she's going to go back and finish it later, she
And
says.
then I'm going to press it to the right.
And Brenda says,
like
thank you
this,
for your help. She has a Fisker's
with
ruler.
just my finger. Okay. And now you can see I have one straight piece. So obviously this little dangly is going to get cut off, and one straight piece here. They line up equally. And now I'm going to put these back in their spot. Just like, oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Almost there. That one goes right. Oops.
Oh, yep, Joe is here now. Slowing down, Joe. Hi. Glad you made it back.
Right there. Trying to put it back in its spot. Now I'm going to grab the next 2, which are like this, and I'm going to hook those together. So just because this is a 4 patch, treat it the same as you would as the solid 1 piece 3-inch diamond. So you're going to take your 3-inch diamond. This is where it was important for your 4 patch to equal 3 inches, is so that you can have that piece hanging over this end and this end, and you create yourself a V and start sewing. So that way, when I press this one towards the 4 patch now, because I'm pressing right, left, so it goes towards the 4 patch, when it's together, it creates one long piece that equals the same, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put that in its spot and grab the next 2. But you guys can't see me, but you saw how I laid them out. Normally I would web piece this whole thing together so that I don't lose anything's spot, but just for video's sake, I'm doing one at a time. So now I'm lining these up, sew on down.
Kim's telling Joe that her quilt's going to be beautiful.
And this time it's being pressed towards the 4 patch. So here again, a nice straight piece. Don't worry about these dog ears. We're going to trim all those off. So now I'm going to put that back. where it goes. Grab the next two. Lots of up and down today for me, just so that I can do this. I hate that I have to grab off screen. I'd like to be able to set the camera up someday where you can see where I'm grabbing from and see the sewing in a good angle. Someday. So again, that last one was right, so this one will go left. So I'm going to press that seam with my finger only for now to the left. So it's going like this. And I'm going to put it back where it goes. Grab the next two pieces. Do that same thing, keeping a 1/4 inch every single time I do this. With these diamonds, you need to keep that. Unless you cut your diamonds from a AccuQuilt cutter, or some kind of die, or some kind of template, those are the only times that it would chop off the points exactly, and then you match up your pieces exactly every time. That would be the only time that happens, unless you can do it yourself, and then you're not sure every time you have a photo. I never do it myself. I use that as my guide. So this one is now going to go to the right.
Hi, Betty. Betty says sorry she's late,
Okay.
but I'm glad I caught you.
So I'm going to put it back where it goes. And the last piece is a B and an E, or an A and an E, sorry. And now I'm going to line them up and sew on down. And I'm using my foot has a guide that's a 1/4 inch from the needle to the edge of the guide. It's a built-on foot, so using a guide really helps. And then this one goes to the left. And now I'm going to show you down on the blocks how it's laid back where it goes. Everything is back in its same spot. So we'll come back down here. So you can see these are now sewn together, all these. And all of the seams are opposite. So this is going right, left, right, left, right, and left. And I'm going to continue doing that where this whole row goes to the right. Every time I add one, every time I add will go to the left, right, left, right, left, the whole way down. Okay. So let's put this whole thing back up, and I'm just going to start grabbing and sewing. Sorry for the movement, but...
Joe's great-granddaughter is 11, and she's already a sewer. She was gifted a genome.
Ooh.
And she says there's no stopping her. Wow.
All right, so
That's
from
pretty
here
cool,
on out
Joe.
now, I can just sit right here, grab this piece at the top, grab the next one that goes on it, so it'd be like this, right sides together, but they're going on the diagonal, so it creates a backwards L. 1/4 inch down. It's the same exact procedure over and over again until the whole block is put together. So I can continue to do one at a time. And this is where I'm going to confuse you, but I just want you to know. I can continue to just keep placing it back, adding the next, placing it back, or I can continue with the row. Because of the way I'm sitting, I'm just going to grab that next piece in this row and put it on here. Like I said, you can do it one at a time if you want to and keep putting them back, but you really don't have to. So again, this is just going to the right. So it's laying like this, cutting that next piece from the top. It's still in one row. Put it on top of there, right sides together. And again, pressing it to the right. So there is 5. Here is the 6th piece. So that's going to go on here. Just like this.
Ellen tells Joe that she loves to see children sew. That's awesome.
And again, pressing it to the right. So technically row 1 is done. So you didn't have to do them in rows like that, but I am. I'm going to grab that next starter, the next 2 for row 2, starter 2 pieces. Grab that next piece, attach it, and go. Web piecing makes this so much easier, though, just letting you know. So my next block, I will be web piecing it together, and I have the little thread that got stuck up in there, and it's going to pull me up and under if I don't snip it.
Joe says, yes, I'm sure she takes after me. LOL.
So now I'm going to be pressing this to the left because this whole row is going to the left. And every time you attach a piece, even though there's a dog ear up there, you should have, if you lay it down on a table, it should be one straight flat piece. It should not start looking like this. This piece should not be sticking up a 1/4 inch that way. That is why we are lining these next pieces up on top of here, but a 1/4 inch down. You never line them up at the end. That just does not matter. That'll cause this stair-stepping effect, and you don't want that. So you want to make sure that it is a 1/4 inch away from the top, creating this V, and at the bottom you have that same V that comes out a 1/4 inch. So just line them up and sew them down. And I don't want to purposely sew something and show you what happens if you're doing it the other way. So I'm pressing this to the left. Grab that next piece. I'm not flipping or moving anything. Nothing is out of order, which makes this so easy to do. So I'm just going to leave this on here, sew on down. Again, I'm going to finger that towards the left. So all my dog ears are going to be on this side. And one more, which is an A for this row. Turn it. Make sure that my thread is out of the way. And even though I moved it out of the way, it still went under. And then again to the left. So there is another row. So all I have to do is put it back up here where it goes. Just like that. And then again, when I'm done, I'll pull all the dog ears off. So now I'm on row 3. Just going to grab the piece that I already made. This having the 2 first pieces done makes this go easier. Grab that next one, lay it on top, about a 1/4 inch down, create a V, hold it, turn it, and sew it. These ones are pressing to the right. Grab the next piece, and I always lay the piece back the way it goes so that it's easier to like remember which way you're laying it on here. And these are going to the right. Again, you can check to make sure you have nice straight line through the whole entire thing, and I do. Grab my next piece. Keeping it lined. Sewing on down. Pressing it to the right. Laying it flat. Grab that next one. Sew it on. Again, to the right. So now row 3 is done. These go by so fast, like big, elaborate, design of a Lonestar just looks like so much work. It's really not that much work. It goes together pretty darn quick, pretty darn easily. And once you get the hang of it, after your first like 5 blocks of lining things up, you should be pretty good on lining your diamonds up. All right, so this now goes to the left because my last row was all right. So this one is now all left. Line up that next one. That's where it goes. And then again, the left. Put it back straight again. Grab that next piece. Goes together just right. Right sides together. Line it up. Hold it in place. Turn it and sew it. And last piece for this row Again, just like this. And now that block looked really big when I laid it out on my table, but watch what happens when I sew it all together with all those seams taken away. It just gets a lot smaller.
Hi,
So
Joyce.
here
Joyce
is
says
another
hi.
one. We're going to put that where it goes. Grab the next row, which is 5. Grab that next piece. And it doesn't matter if you flip these pieces around, you know, it does not matter. As long as it's laying, see, they lay the same either way, no matter which way you do it, okay? So it doesn't matter if it gets turned around. Just remember one side is biased and one side is not, so just watch for that. So these are going to the right.
Suan's on. She says beautiful.
The next piece, which is
And
my
wow.
4 patch.
Hi, Suan.
Right sides together. Hello. Welcome
Suan.
everybody that's joining.
Suan says, got my bag and love it. That's
Saw.
awesome, Suan. It's good to hear.
But you know I saw.
She's telling everyone else now.
All right, so this again goes to the right. And I know with a 4 patch, you got a little bit of a bulk right here. You would think to the left is better or the opposite way, you know, but it still lays pretty flat because it's not a ton of seams. Grab that next one. Right sides together. Line it up. Hold it and sew it. And again, which way? Right. And I always have to look to make sure I'm pressing the correct direction. All right, last piece for this row. Right sides together, place it on there. And again, to the right.
Suan says, love Lonestar.
All right, I'm gonna put this back where it goes. And now we're gonna grab the last one, which is way over there.
Hi, Nita. Nita says hello.
Grabbing the next piece. So every row is different, but it's the same order, just in a different spot. So this one goes to the left. And I know like Jordan Fabrics, Donna Jordan has a video on Jordan Fabrics on how to do it where you're cutting them into fat quarters pretty much, putting one side upside down and cutting it and one side right side up and cutting it. But that's technically what I did because they were folded in half. So mirror imaged or not, they should all lay with the grain going in the same direction. So hopefully they should, but I've never had a problem if it wasn't or not of laying flat. So and there's a couple other YouTubers that have done the Lonestar video, and they do the strip piecing it, which I've those are the other methods I've used, but this one, because of the 4 patch, we couldn't do that. So just so you know, there's lots of other videos on how to do it.
Suan says, love those blues.
Yes, very, very beautiful. Again, to the left. I'm just finger pressing. I'm not pressing hard. I'm not stretching anything. I'm just laying them on, sewing them, and then finger pressing carefully. Is the iron plugged in and ready?
No, I asked you earlier. You
Oh,
said
yeah,
I didn't need it.
Yeah, I need it now.
Okay. I can gladly do it.
And again,
Are you going to want the bigger one since you're going to
the
be
left. Yes,
one probably
please.
using it? Okay.
All right, so I'm going to put it back in its spot
Wow,
and
this
then
one is still
show
hot.
you how they're laying. So you can see kind of down there. So there it is. That's how it's laying. So before I iron, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to get rid of all these dog ears. You can see them hanging there. We're just going to grab a rotary cutter to make it go faster. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to line my, oh, it was open the whole time. I'm going to line my rotary cutter up and just
Yes, you have a habit of leaving it
snip
open.
these all off, just like this.
I
Just
closed a
holding
lot
it
of times
down.
for you.
Don't run your fingers over. And then this is also on this side. So I'm just snipping all of these off. You can do it with scissors or you can do it with a rotary cutter like
So
me.
Ann asks, how have you been feeling?
I'm really, really tired, but that's okay because I have stuff to do and I'm in a mood, so I might as well get it done. But I know that I will be napping after the video is over.
Give them your update again.
And if you guys didn't know or didn't watch video 1 and you're just joining now for video 2, medical update. I had that biopsy done on my hip, and it turns out that I have scleroderma, which is a fancy word for some weird stuff. It's a fancy thing for saying I have an autoimmune disease that affects skin, and that is why my butt cheek sunk in, and I literally have half of a butt cheek, and they're fixing it. And now I have 2 autoimmune diseases for the rest of my life, unfortunately. So it most likely came, like I was saying in video 1, it most likely came because I was on the medication for valley fever, and it intensified it. And the medication caused what was sitting dormant. The scleroderma was most likely sitting dormant in my body, and then it got worse by taking the medication, and it activated it, and now my body is showing signs and symptoms of it. So now that I have these rows, they're already finger pressed, but I'm going to take the iron and press it over these nicely. So this one, I'm going to run the iron this way. This row,
love your nails.
I will run it that way. This row, I will run it. So I'm going to run it with the way I've pressed them so that they're nice and flat for the next
prayers
step.
For you and your health.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanna.
So I'm going to take these over to the iron real quick. Off screen.
And everyone loves your nails.
Yes. You guys already know I try to keep my nails really nice. They're just, sometimes I'm not in the mood to go get them fixed. So here's row 1. So I pressed that nicely so that it lays super flat. I'm going to grab the next one.
Beverly sent you a bunch of cute little pictures.
So I'm just going over it, pressing it the direction that I finger pressed everything. Just so that it lays nice and flat. And then we'll lay it back where it goes. Grab this. I'm not stretching, pulling, or tugging. I'm just going along it with the iron in the direction that I've pressed the seams with my finger. That way everything is super duper flat. And my iron lets off steam the whole time I'm using it. So it helps keep these blocks super duper flat since I've also finger pressed them first. All right, and one more, and then I'll show you how to put them together. And this one goes here, just like that. So now I need to piece them together. And I already got rid of the dog ears, so that the next part should be quite simple. Okay, so we're going to bring you back up, just like that. And to keep from getting anything out of order, I'm going to take row 1 and 2, sew them together, row 3 and 4, sew them together, and row 5 and 6 and sew them together. I know they're out of your camera range, but I'm just going to pick them up. 1 and 2 we're laying there just like this. We want to keep them like this. So I'm just going to pick it up, right sides together. And what I'm going to do with the whole entire row is I'm going to make sure that I have a 1/4 inch sticking up. See that 1/4 inch piece making that V right here in my hand? See that? We want to keep that. We're continuing that whole, making those little points stick up. Okay. And then we're going to turn this way. I'm going to make sure that when I'm sewing across here, if I fold this back 1/4 inch, okay, and fold back 1/4 inch. Let's see if I can't hold this and hold it up to the camera. That should line up when you fold it back 1/4 inch. You should have a nice straight line. I hope you can see it, because if I move a finger, it'll drop the side. So each junction, we're going to make sure that we're sewing right up to where these line up, or whatever direction my finger is if I hold it. So we're going to make sure that it creates a nice straight line when it's folded back. So I'm going to line this up. I'm going to take a couple stitches to my little V up here. I'm going to stop. I'm going to make sure before I continue down, fold it back. Yes, that lines up. I'm going to use my finger to hold it in place, just like this. Stop just past that seam. Go to the next one. Fold it back. Look at it and go, that lines up perfectly right there. Adjust if you have to. Use your finger to hold it in place. Stop after the seam. Find the next one. Make sure I have a nice straight line, 1/4 inch in. All right, come on, right there. And then I adjust if I have to. Again, folding the next one back. It's too far, go up. Sew it. Last one, lining it up, right there, and lay it down. And I should be ending with a 1/4 inch sticking out at the end. So what I should have is, I'm going to press this to the left. They're not completely perfect, but they're good enough for me. This one could be moved a little bit, but I'm going to show you. So this one came out, there it is right there. Great. That's where you want them to end. This one came out great. That's where you want them to end. Okay, so it creates a nice straight line right here. This one is almost like great, but it's still good enough. I'm not going to bother pulling it out, but it creates a nice straight line. And this one the same, a nice straight line from this side to this side. The only one that I'm worried about is this one, and you can see it's just slightly above that, so I'm going to pick it out, and all I'm going to do is just pick out this section and adjust it back down so that this lines up. So I really just need to take about, I don't know, 1.5 inches, 2 inches worth of stitching out, and then I'm just going to adjust it before I do anything further, because I want it to be as best as it can be. So I'm just going to, again, just take a couple stitches out in the front of it and behind it. And I'm only going to be stitching that section. And then all I have to do is adjust just a little bit, because there's bias now and it's going to stretch ever so slightly. So I'm going to open that up. Right here. There's like 3 stitches that are still there. So here's my open spot. I'm just going to fix it by laying it right here on my thing, and I'm going to readjust it down just a little bit. Just a little bit, because it was sitting too high. And then lay it flat. Come about, I don't know, a little bit above. So this way, and a little bit beyond where I started. And now when I open it, still off just a little bit, but it's better than it was. Like, it's literally just a tiny smidge off. See?
Okay, I don't know how.
So I'm not going to care about that. It's literally not even 1/8 of an inch off. So now I'm going to press that back.
Hi, DB. DB says hi.
Hello.
Hi, Brenda. Brenda Foley's here.
Since
She's
I
late.
finger pressed it, I'm just now using the iron for this section real quick. Pressing it back. Making sure it stays nice and flat. All of my matching
All these
seams.
prints came from Joanne's, Sue-Ann. We went to Joanne's last week, and we made a trip, and then we bought them all from there.
So now I'm going to take this whole section, now that it's pressed, and it looks really good, and lay it back where it goes. And I'm going to grab the next 2, which you can't see because the camera is not facing that direction.
And then Sue-Ann asked that Lonestar quilts are hard to piece. She says, would you agree, or do you not think so?
I don't think so. I mean, if you're trying to be absolutely perfect, like going to a show, then obviously pay attention and pin.
Elena
But I'm
says-
not going to a show. I'm not trying to be absolutely perfect. And the imperfections is what makes these quilts so wonderful. So
Elena says it looks great. You make it look so easy, but I'm sure it's hard.
It is easy.
Anyway, I have to go. I love
Okay.
you. I will hopefully be back within a half an hour if all goes well.
And this is my little, all the scraps are now in this little tub.
Bye for now, everyone. I hope I'll be back while she's still on.
I'm going to put that out of the way. So if I don't get to all the comments, just know that I'm trying. It's just me. I'm not used to it being just me. It's been Scott here for a while now. All right. Right sides together. Remember, I'm making sure that it's hanging over 1/4 of an inch. Okay. So it's right sides together. So piece 4 is on top of piece 3. Because I'm putting them together in pieces. I'm going to adjust that. Turn the whole entire thing. Start my stitching. I want to ask why you decided not to do strip. Because DB, I cannot do strip piecing with the 4-patch involved. So it had to go together individually because there's a 4-patch involved. I could have strip pieced some of the pieces together, but then again, I would have only been making 8 sets of everything, and I would actually have been cutting more fabric than I needed. So cutting them this way, cutting every single piece I need, and then creating the 4-patch, which was done with strip piecing, makes it a lot easier. So again, my needle is down. I'm going to peel it back about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to make sure that they line up and match right there at that 1/4 inch junction. And then you can pin it if you want. I'm not. Stop right after it. Peel it back and look, you're creating a line. I wish I could just bring the camera behind me so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Do you want me to bring the camera behind me for a few minutes so that you can see? So again, I'm just holding it back just a little bit, making sure that my seam is going to come together at that 1/4 inch junction. I'm also got to make sure that I'm holding down this 4-patch. Yes, okay. Give me 2 seconds, and then I'll come. I have to move all this stuff that's next to me. Let's just leave this right here. I have a bunch of stuff for bag making in the way. All right, I'm going to bring the camera behind me so that you guys can see, and it's going to be unplugged, and so will the mic for a few minutes, but you can still hear me talking and sewing and stuff. But that way you get a better close-up view. So the camera's going to move for a second. Just beware. Okay, you're being disconnected, and we're going for a trip, and you're going to be sideways because that's what happens. But you guys have seen my whole entire quilting room, so. Okay, we're going to put you right here. We're going to bring you down. We're also going to center this darn thing. Close your eyes if you're not used to movement. I'm hoping that it stays. This camera mount is broken, so right there. And I'm going to zoom in, okay? So that you can see. Right there. Come on. Focus. A little bit more than that. There we go. All right, here you go. You guys are going to get a really close up of what I'm doing when I'm nesting these without using pins, okay? And if it's crooked, I'm sorry, I cannot control that. I have a broken mount. Hello, everybody that's joining. Okay, so now that I'm a little bit further down, you can see they're lined up. I'm peeling this back, right? I want 1/4 of an inch pulled back. So that means I need to line this right here in one straight line, but 1/4 inch in. So this is a little too far peeled back. So that means I need to just pull it down just a little bit like this and then match it. So that's about 1/4 inch on both sides now. So I'm going to literally lay it back down, hold my finger right there, come just past it and go to the next one. So again, just going to finger hold it back. So this is a really dark fabric right here, but you can see that this line right here matches that line right there. Okay. Fold it back, hold it down. And then by the time I get to the end, I got my little piece sticking out. Bring it up through. So that way, when I'm done and it goes this way, I'm going to finger press it back like this. I should have a nice straight line there, a nice straight line there. So this one is way off. I don't like that. I'm gonna pull it out. That's good, but this one is not. So we're gonna pull this one out real quick. You don't have to do this every time. I mean, I don't know. If you pin it, then that will be good. I'll show you how to pin in the next row. How's that? So that you can make sure every single time it's correct. So I'm just taking out just that middle section. Where I want to line back up. I'm going to come this way. It needs to come down to about right there. Oops, stay. Right there. So I'm going to hold my finger there. I'm going to just adjust that with my fingers. I'm going to come a little bit above where I picked. And a little bit below where I started. And now let's roll it back and look. And that's much better. So see, now it's a nice straight line. Now I'm happy with it. So now I'm going to go now that it's finger pressed back, I'm going to go press this and then I'll show you guys how to pin. I'm hoping this is helping. Having it really close like that. Okay. Lay that where it goes, right in its spot. So we're going to grab this next two, like that. And we're going to pin this time. I might be too zoomed in for pinning. Let's see. Let's back out just a little bit so you can watch. Oops, wrong way. Okay. So we're going to grab the pins just for this. I'm not going to do it any other time though. I don't like pinning. To me, it's just a waste of time. And you know me, I'm all about saving time and going fast. So I'm going to start with this one. It's going to come up a 1/4 inch like that. So I created my V, and then I'm going to line these completely up, line them up, and I'm peel this back a 1/4 inch like this. Okay. I want them to meet right here. So I'll lay it back down, keeping that where it's supposed to be. Peel it back one more time. Needs to go up just a little. And I'm going to take a pin and I'm going to stick it where I want it to land. 1/4 inch in. So here's where my pin is going to go, right here and right here. And I'm going to drop it in and push it like that. So there's one pin. Now we're going to go on to number 2. Peel it back. Look at it, go, oh, it's a nice straight line. That's where I want it to land. We're going to come here with this pin. We're going to put it in a 1/4 inch down, making sure 2 of these are coming perfectly together at a 1/4 inch. Fold the pin down, put the pin in. And it likes to adjust itself every single time, which I hate. This is why I don't use pins. Let's go the opposite way. Lining it up and pinning it in. Just going to go that way. So you can see that they're going to line up right here. I'll turn this pin too. Right there. So I'm putting it in a 1/4 inch in right here. See that area right there from the back side. And I'm going to come to the front side, a 1/4 inch in. Keeping everything all nicely lined up. And slide it down like that. This is why I don't pin. You see how much extra work this is? So from the back side, right at the junction, there's a 1/4 inch right there. Just by eyeballing it, come to the front side with the front of the pin to the 1/4 inch right there. And it's not always perfect anytime I do this either. That's why I go without them. But we're doing it for the video. Again, from the back side, come down a 1/4 inch right at that seam where those two pieces come together, right here. Come a 1/4 inch, pop the other side of the pin in, 1/4 inch in. And if you want to mark it and measure it and all that other fun stuff, be my guest. That's just so much extra work. This whole pinning thing is too much extra work for me. But we'll see the difference between my sewing and pinning. Because I really don't like to pin, and you guys know it. And everybody that's new to my channel, you'll understand sooner or later why I don't pin. It's not like I'm trying to hurry everything, but I definitely don't like the amount of time wasted on this whole pinning thing. So there's my pins. We're going to go right here. We're going to start it just like this. So to the pin, pull the pin out, and just hold. Pin's not all the way out. There it is. Come close to it. Hold it. Don't let anything move. Come close to it. That one I made go in so messed up. Oh, I can't even get it out. Like that. You could probably put them in that way, but I'm going this way because I'm right-handed. Come to it. Pop the darn thing out before I get close to it. Hold it in place. Hold my bottom. And I'm about to go kick me a cat butt in a second. So let's check these. Even with a pin, look, it's not even. Even with a pin. I just like doing it my way. That one's off. That one's way off. Not off, not off. So I got to pick this one out, even with a pin. So this is why I don't pin. I just rather do my own thing. So let's pick this out real quick. So much extra work when I have to do this. Let's just say the next 7 blocks should go together nicely. So I'm only taking out the area. I got to be careful ripping it because it's all on the bias. So I need to pull out that specific area, line it up my way, like this, making sure that that's a 1/4 inch right there. Bam. And sew it back. And that should now be good. And it is. See? Look at that. Perfect. This is why I do it my way. So you guys have seen, pins don't always make it better. So let me go press this back. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. All right. Good enough for me. So I'm going to lay this down over here. Oops, make sure it's the correct direction, Tiffy. Nope, that's not the correct direction. That is the correct direction. And now it just goes together, which you can't see because it's off the screen. I'm just going to keep you right here for a few minutes. Face you that way. So there are the pieces. Now 1 and 2 are together, 3 and 4 are together, and 5 and 6 are together. So now I just need to hook 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, and 5 and 6 to the whole entire thing. So we're going to start by taking this one right here, which is 3 and 4, right sides together, and it's going to be the thing. I'm just going to do it my way without pins because you guys, like I said, you saw it's a challenge with pins and it's annoying. But let me put the camera back so you can see me sew it. So I'm going to come back down here. Oops, I went too far. Don't mind the wiggling. I'm really trying here. Right there. And I'm also going to go kick me a cat butt real quick. Give me 2 seconds to go kick a cat butt. He just found his way into the closet. Get out of there. Get out. Okay. Just have to smack my hands together. Gave him the hint. He literally found his way into the bag of batting in the closet behind the chair. All right, so I have my V. That's what I always start with. Start with that V. Put your press your foot down and start stitching. Keep it held down. Fold this back. This is all I do. This makes it so much easier. I have a nice straight line. I'm going to leave it right there. Keep the needle down because I've passed it. Again, lining this next one up. Comes up a little bit. Right there. Come a little bit past it. Line the next one up. And remember, everything's on the bias now. So see, you can see this stretches. This whole side is bias edge. So just be very careful, but it allows also for you to stretch anything if you need to. Make sure everything is nice and lined up by stretching just ever so slightly. Right there. Again, peel it back a 1/4 inch and it looks perfect. Also have to watch the seams from the forepatch so that they stay down. And coming down here, stretch it just a little bit, right there, right there, stay. That's where I want it, right there. And then line that bottom up. Once it's past it, just hold it in place and sew on out that V. So once I open it up, you can see that looks good. That looks good. That looks great. That looks great. And that one's perfect, perfect, perfect. Look at that. That one's like super duper straight line. All right. So now I'm going to lay it the correct position and grab that last piece, which is 5 and 6. And I'm going to make sure they're in the right spot by looking at it. Okay. And then right sides together. And 1/4 inch down, creating a little V. My needle should come right into the corner of that. And then repeat the process. So I'm just going to fold it back and look. And adjust it just this way, just a little, and up just a little. Like that. That's perfect. I also have to hold these little pieces down so that they stay facing up. Helps lay flatter. All right, right there. Perfect. Making sure they're all lined up. Right there. All right, just a little bit past it. Line up the next one. So you can see that it's creating a nice straight line right there. Did I run out of bobbin? No, I did not. It just got stuck right there. Doesn't say, I didn't really load a full bobbin, so I loaded a half empty bobbin. Right there, perfect. And then at the end, should have a nice little V to come out of. And all of these seams I'm pressing upwards, but before I do that, I'm going to check them all. That one is nice. Where am I at? Right there. That's good. Folding that seam up. That's good. And that last one's a little off downward, but you know what? Once it's pressed, it should be pretty good. So let me press this real quick and then we'll move the camera to its regular spot. Oh yeah, that looks fine. Once it's pressed, it changes everything. right, I'm coming to the camera and we're going to go for a ride real quick. Okay, just 2 seconds. We're going to go back to the other side where it's much better. So now you can see the block is together. I still haven't unzoomed yet either. Back that way, come on. And you're going to be crooked for just 2 seconds until I uncricket it with cords. All right. So there's the block. It is now together. And now I had to adjust the stupid thing, right, so that it would be on the sewing side for you guys. So there's the block. So now that there's one made and it lays super flat, look at that, it lays nice and flat. Now that there is one block made like this, it's got a bunch of these little thingies, throw those out of the way. Now it's simple to do the rest of the blocks because all you have to do is follow this same exact diagram all over again. So if you want to make sure before you do anything that all this creates a nice straight line, every time you line your finger up. So like right here, it's just a little off. I really don't care. That's not horrible because once it's quilted, the stitching that lands in these sections that are off is going to hide it. Okay, so it's as long as it's not 1/4 of an inch to an inch or 1/2 inch off, I mean, then you're okay. So here is one block. This is what one block looks like. And it's so very easy to do. And you can see without the pins, to me, I don't know. That's my own personal, I am just a no pinner. I hate pinning. So now I can build from here. Now I don't even need my chart anymore. I just watch this right here, just like that. And all the pieces are already correct and cut. So I should have the right amount of everything. So let's do it again. So we're going to lay out another one. And I'm just going to take this one and lay it out of the way. I guess I'll put it on the ironing board actually, so that I could see it. We're going to build it all over again. So we're going to go E, and I have to go way far out of the way. I got 2 A's. And I'm sorry if I'm missing comments, guys. Stunning, awesome, okay. Jim's just looking, okay. I'm not really missing much. All right, so now we need B, which is blue dots. So we need 1, 2, and 1 more. 3 of the B's. Now C, which is my paisley. So C, right there. You guys are just watching it be built. Now we need D, which is the blue sky, like this. And it becomes so much easier to do once you're continue on doing it over and over. Then we need E again, like this. So now E will just go in here. And E becomes the last piece like this. So that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now going back down. So then we would take our D and W combo, putting it in like this. Okay. Then the next color is C. So that would be this one. And you can make these any color you want. You don't have to have them, you know, gradiating from a dark to a light to a dark, you know what I mean? You can make the rainbow if you wanted and just add these and not even care, just have all that scrappy as long as your accent colors run through it, you know, if you wanted. All right, so now we need B, which is blue dots. I just wanted to do all the colors because they pull off of each other very, very nicely. and then A, and then E. Just like that. So now I'm going to do it all over again, except this time I'm going to web piece. So I'm going to hook these two, hook these two, hook these, and these. And then all of this will stay chain pieced on machine. Then I'll go back to the top again and add the third on each, and then go back to the top again and add the fourth, and then the fifth, and then the sixth, and then sew all the rows together while it's all hooked together. So let's web piece this so that you can see how that goes, and then from there you should know how to do it, and then I don't have to record the rest until I am done, ready to put together all of these pieces. So for now, let's go to some sewing, and then everything after I'm done with this block, just, you know, off camera, which should be good. You guys should be able to do it. Trying to make sure that this is staying good. I'm going to read comments for a second, though. That way I'm caught up since Scott's not here. Because I probably missed quite a bit. That's why it actually helps. I do recommend it for other YouTubers to have someone read comments for you for live streaming, because this really works good. But with me, I have to stop for a second, you know. If you don't have anybody to read, that's why you know that a lot of people miss comments. All right, how many star points you need? There needs to be 8 blocks, 8 6x6 blocks for this project. Okay, so the one that I designed again from the beginning is this little chart, and I posted it in the Facebook group. It has all the cuts and how much fabric I've purchased. I always over purchase, at least by half a yard, because I want to make sure there is plenty, because the rest can be used in the back or the borders or however I want to use it. So there's a cutting chart on how to get all the diamonds and how many strip pieces you need, and then there is a layout chart. I took a picture of it and put it in the Facebook group. Not only did I put this chart, but I took a still photo of this layout so you guys can get the general color idea instead of looking at alphabet letters. Okay, so the general color idea is also a picture in there, so that way you have the start to it. The rest of everything, the measurements and everything you'll need to add to this Lonestar, because this is not your average Lonestar. It will have the Lonestar in the center, but I'm adding more to this quilt. The rest of that will be obviously in video 3, 4, and however many videos it takes. But for now, we're focusing on putting the star points together. All right, and you hear that darn thing go. Did you press the seams open? No, I did not. I actually pressed them all right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left with each row, and then all of them up one direction the rest of the way. So the top row 1 and 2 always gets pressed towards 1. Row 3 gets pressed towards 2. Row 4 gets pressed towards 3, and so on and so forth. They all get pressed upward instead of open. And then when I connect all of my final seams, then I press open. Trying to think about this for a second. Yeah, I think it's that way. We'll get to that when I get to that. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to go. After 30 years of quilting, I have better success with points lining up if I don't pin. Same. And I'm not even 30 years in. I'm 5 years in. Thank you, feisty lady. She doesn't teach like we are 4-year-old. I get to you just how it is. Oh, please make sure you line that up. I can't do that. I just can't do that. This is how I teach. And if every once in a while you get the word dang it or something out of it, then that's even better. All right, I saw that part. Not far. You guys are talking about that new road. Beautiful. Yes, I cut it all in the first video and to them. Okay, awesome. How read a ruler? No, Brenda, but in the first part of this video, I told you guys how to read the ruler. And I can go over that if you need me to one more time. Before I start sewing, let me know. Stay, you darn thing. Okay. So if you need me to, I can go over the ruler again. There's several different kinds of rulers. And actually, I think I'll just do it while I'm right here. Let's grab one of each kind of ruler. Because they're all different. Every single one of these rulers are super different. All right. Here is an OmniGrid ruler. We're going to just do a little quick ruler class. And I'm froze. Oh, there it is. So you should be able to see this even with all that stuff. Actually, we're just going to do this and make it easy on myself. Here's the ruler. So on OmniGrids, they have lines every 1/8 of an inch throughout the whole thing, creating a grid. That's why it's called OmniGrid, because of the grids. So here is your 1/4 inch, right here. So there's 1/8, 1/4, 3, 1/2, 4, 3/4, 7/8, and an inch. Okay, so if you wanted 1 3/4 inch, you want 1, 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. Okay, not this last one. I know my nail is pointing at the wrong thing, but I don't have a pointer stick right here with me. So there's an OmniGrid. That's how that one works. And then these are 4 1/2 inch ruler. So you can see it already has that 1/2 inch on the end built in, and that's not even gridded. So if you're trying to cut a 4-inch block from this ruler, you only want the gridded section. Okay. Then we have the Fiskars ruler, which I find a lot easier to read. And I'm sorry, it keeps freezing. The Fiskars is super easy to read because we have the markings right here, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch. So it makes it easier to read. Now it's not directly on this, but this is a 4 1/2 inch ruler again. So their 1/2 inches on the Fiskars are in an orangish color. Okay. So there's how that one works. So all the 1/8s have this white outline around the side of them. Everywhere there's an 1/8. And then in this direction, it's outlined all the way with that white. Okay. Then we have the Missouri Star ruler. Again, same thing. So you have all the 1/8s have lines, except this has no grids except for the 1/2 inch marks. So it has the longer points at the 1/2 inch marks, the shorter at the 1/4 inch, and the 1/8s are even shorter. Okay. So there would be 1 and, oops, I can't point because I'm looking through a camera. There's this middle thing right here is the 3/4 of an inch. And this is 2 1/2 inch. And then we have the Quilter Select, which is 100% different than any other ruler because the markings are in 2 different directions. So the 1/2 point starts on your right hand and then it goes 1 through 8. But technically when you're cutting strips, here's your 2 1/2 already on this side. But when you're trying to make only a 3-inch cut, instead of trying to read the horrible numbers on this side and trying to get 3-inch and always forgetting about that 1/2 inch built onto the ruler, go from this side. 1, 2, 3 inches. I know it's confusing though on these rulers because the markings are upside down or backwards. So this would have been 1 inch, but it's backwards. See, so this says it's 1 this way, and the bright dark one says this is my 1/8 inch, the opposite way. So on the 1/4s, they're really small on this one. I don't even know if it's going to focus. Can you see the 1/2s and 1/4s and the 1/8s? So you can see they're very tiny for an 1/8, a little bit bigger for a 1/4, and all the 1/2 marks have a full line connecting. So that's how you read them. So it would go 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2, 4/8, 3/4, and 7/8. So that's how that's all done. Okay, let's get to some sewing. I hope that little quick demonstration helped. And then there are rulers that don't have the 1/2 inches built onto them as well, which I prefer. So out of all these rulers, these Fiskars right here is the last and final ruler. These do not have a 1/2 inch on them. These are 6 inches. So it makes it a lot easier, a 1/2 inch mark, or try to turn the ruler around. So this is opposite on both directions. So the numbers are wrote one way and the opposite way, one way and the opposite way. So it makes it a little bit easier to read. And again, the 1/4 inch markings are all a solid dash, which makes that easier to read because most of our cuts are in the 1/4 inches. So it's rare that we have 1/8 of an inch unless we're cutting 1/2 square triangles and, you know, or making 1/2 square triangles 2 at a time, which would have a 7/8 inch marking. You know what I mean? So just watch for that on the rulers. No problem. I try my best to explain when people ask. Kathy, sorry, late, didn't get the notice. Oh, it's fine. Buffering, yeah. With different measurements, okay. Yeah, I'm learning that. I got 2 by Fiskars, yeah. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to web piece. For those that are beginners, what's web piece? It's not disconnecting my thread the whole entire time I put this block together. So if you've seen my 25 patch videos, this is going to be the same exact thing, but with diamonds, and it's 6 by 6 grid instead of 5 by 5. I am not disconnecting, leave it all together as I piece. So I'm going to take those first 2, like I showed you before I got on the ruler thing, the second 2, third 2, fourth, and then start from the beginning again. So we're going to go with these first 2. It's going to take a little bit of this whole reaching up and reaching down thing, but eventually it will get done. And after this, I can nap. And then another day I'll get to putting the whole thing together because you don't need to see it on one day, right? So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to grab the next 2. Put them up, right sides together. I'm always making sure I have that V or that 1/4 inch down. Like if you really wanted to measure it, you probably could. Let's see. Yeah. It's a 1/4 inch. Well, look at that. All right, right there. Just gonna slide it under. So I have not broke my thread. It's still hooked together, okay? Grab the next 2. Right sides together. Same thing. The top piece is always the part that comes down a little bit, a 1/4 inch. Creating that V where I make sure I line it up to my needle in that V, right in the dead center of that V. If anything, just slightly to the right of it. But technically, I'm always in the center of it. Next 2. I just line them, twist them, load them. Next 2. I'm hoping I'm not confusing anybody either, because I definitely am not trying to do that, but I'm also a efficient speed quilter. So I speed through my projects as efficiently as I possibly can. I don't like to take forever because I have 500 projects going on in my head, so I don't want 500 projects going on in my desk. Even though there's about that many going on. Not really. Not even close. I probably got like 60 started projects. And that's a lot. So now I've broke thread. I'm going to come back to the beginning because everything is hooked together. I'm going to come back to the beginning and I'm going to press it to the right with just my finger. I'm going to press it to the left, just my finger. I'm going to pull this out of the corner right there, go to the right, go to the left. Just like anything, except we have little dog ears in the way. That's the only thing that's going to change this whole entire thing. Right and left. Now we're going to grab from row 1, grab that next piece. And again, it should make a complete straight line like this. So we're going to just put that right sides together. Everything else has fallen into my lap. It's best if your lap is in the way or the desk or something to hold all those pieces from pulling. Now we're going to open up number 2 and attach it. So row 2, grab piece 3. And sorry about the iron. It's going to beep until it's completely done beeping. It's on its final shut off. So now I'm going to grab 3rd piece from row 3 and attach that. Right sides together. I got my little V going. Grab my next one, 3rd piece from row 4. Right sides together. Make sure you leave a little bit of thread in between all your pieces, so that you have a little bit of pulling room to move and adjust. So my 3rd piece from row 4. And, oh, that was 5. That was 5. Here's 6. 3rd piece from row 6 now. That was off on my counting. All right. Probably because I was talking. So now you can see everything is still connected. I have not disconnected anything yet. So now I'm going to press to the right, to the left, to the right, come on, to the left, right, and for now I'm just using my finger and the tip of my nail and left, and I'm holding the piece as I do it so that I'm not stretching, although the bias is on this direction, not this direction. So now we're going to come to row 1, grab piece 4, and again it's going to get a little heavy, so just make sure you're holding it, at least the piece that you're sewing onto. Line it up, hold it in place. Leave a little bit of a tail in between. Grab the next one. So this is row 2, piece 4. Line it up. Row 3, piece 4. You get the picture here. I got creative grids rulers 5x5 square to sit 2, so it'd go on the 4th half, 3/4. I'm trying to use it to make a 9 patch. Good. Yeah, I don't have any 5x5 squares, but I do have 4.5 and 6.5. No, 7, 8.5. 4.5 and 8.5. Oh, I have a 6.5. 4, 8, and 6, all of them with halves. Those are my squares. I have lots of rectangles. All right, I'm grabbing the next one. And the more often you do this, the more easier this way of doing it gets. Definitely gets easier. And lining it up. I'm always watching for my little V to create a 1/4 inch in. And my last one. For that. So before I go that way, I'm just going to go left and right. Left and right, left and right. And as you can see, all of my rows are still creating a nice straight line, even though it's all hooked together, Okay, this just makes it easy so nothing gets out of place. All right, so now I'm on row 1, piece 5. And I'm just gonna do all piece 5s through every row now. It's really hard to sew wrong one when you're doing it this way. Easy to keep everything together and not get anything out of order. Just remember to leave a little bit of space between them because they are diamonds, so they need a little bit more space in between them than doing regular squares. And even then you should have space between squares too. It helps and it makes it lay better. I see the gang is all here too. Hi everyone. Hi Teresa. We don't have Scott reading right now, so because he's doing a job for the side job, which has taken 2 days to do. That's okay. And the last one for this. And this whole entire time, I've also made sure that my 4 patches are all being sewn on a specific direction. And I'll get to that in 2 seconds. I finger press all these to where I get to one so I can show you. All right. And left. So all of my 4 patches, when I'm sewing them on, I'm always making sure that the seam, let me turn this sideways so that you can see. I'm always making sure that the seam is facing the end of the block. That way, when I put these together, if everything lays nice and flat, all of it should stay flat. If all of these seams are going in totally different whatever directions, it's going to have little lumps throughout this whole entire thing. So I'm also making sure that they all stay in the same direction when I attach them, because they were all pieced in the same direction too, so all the grain goes one way. All right, next and last, so the 6th piece now. Let's get it all attached, and now it's kind of heavy, so it's all gonna fall. Just watch that. Just hold the pieces that you're on. It makes it easier. And hold them nicely, because everything else is just gonna fall. Hi, June. And if I missed everybody saying hi, it's just because I can't read as fast as I sew. Next. I hope everybody's doing good. Are you guys all still doing your own little things, working projects? Killed a gnat in the flying air. Ooh, I'm so good. And now he's like literally got gnat juice all over my shirt. Sleeve, all over my sleeve. I wrote on myself with pencil earlier, so it's okay. A little gnat ain't gonna bother anything. All right. So they are all now attached. So I should have every single piece attached. I'm just going to finger press these. Oops. This one needs space in between them so you can finger press them as well. And last but not least, so that you can see it is all hooked together. See, nothing is going to get out of order. It's all there. So now all I have to do is hook them together. So I'm going to turn it upside down like this. And now, before I do anything, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to reach in and I'm going to get rid of dog ears. But I'm not going to get rid of the thread that's holding them. Just the dog ears. The thread is still there. Okay, come on. These scissors are kind of big for this job. Trying to squeeze them in like this. Nah. They don't want to fit. They don't want to fit. And I snipped it apart accidentally, but that's okay. Just trying to squeeze it past and get rid of all these dog ears. I know which piece goes where. They're just not the right size scissors for the job. And they're getting kind of dull too. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to put them right sides together like this. I'm going to do that same thing I did earlier. I'm just going to make my V at the top right here. Okay. And it should lay that way. Your threads should not allow you to pull it too far. So I can't mess this up because I am attached to thread. So it shouldn't allow me to pull far, far, far out of the way and mess anything up. So I'm going to create my little V. I'm going to make sure that it's not, the whole unit is not tangled on the edge of my thing. I'm going to take a drink of water. I'm going to read comments. Oh, where was I? Saw that. Hi, T. I was trying to nap and the phone rang. Cat started meowing, so no nap here. Good grief, 15 below with wind chill at 30 tonight, though. Oh, my goodness. No way. Not doing it. All right. What you up to, T? Getting things done? All right, so I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. I'm going to peel it back. Screw the pins. Like I said, it doesn't make a difference whether you use them or not. Not for this. Honestly, it doesn't. Peel it back. Look, I want it right there. Look, I sewed. And it went where I wanted it. So I'm going to peel it back. Look, this is where I want it to line up. 1/4 inch away. Obviously, I don't have the camera on this side again, but I'm not doing that whole moving the camera thing again. You guys already saw it one time. I'm pretty sure you got the idea. So I'm peeling it back and just looking now and adjusting each piece as I can go because I'm on the bias. So if I have to stretch it down a little bit, I can. And it still lays flat because I'm really not moving it too far. And the iron will make it nice and flat with the steam anyway when I'm done. And if I can't fold it back because my stitch is not good, then I can just peel it out. My stitch was in the way on that one. And that iron is going to be 2 more times, I think. It doesn't like to stay plugged in without being manned. Somebody needs to man that iron. He's not here. All right. Okay, so now I'm going to peel that open and finger press it to the right. Just with my finger. I'm not trying to pull or anything because, again, this side is the bias. So I'm just using my finger for now. All right, so now these two need to go over this. Same thing. I'm literally just going to stick it over like that on that edge, creating that V, and start sewing this one. And this one had this between piece 2 and 3, there is no dog ears because they were all pressed to the opposite direction. So between piece 3 and 4, there'll be dog ears, and between 5 and 6, there'll be dog ears. So, but between these 2 and 3, there isn't. So I sew down just a little bit, and if I can't see my peeled back spot, I just clip that thread, peel it back 1/4 inch, and make sure that it's going to land where I want, right there. Lay it down, sew on down. Go to the next one, make sure it's going to lay where I want it, and it is. Perfect right there. I'm also trying to make sure that these the seams stay folded over the way I wanted them because I didn't press anything this time. This time I'm just going right ahead with the sewing and bypassing the iron because I finger pressed everything. So it should lay pretty good. All right. stay. Again, I'm just peeling them back, looking at my 1/4 inch where it's going to land. And it's landing where I want it so far in all of these. Hopefully. We'll see when I turn it to the front, right? Which I haven't done yet. I'm not going to look until I'm completely done. Right there. Right there. Stay right there. And the last little piece. Again, I'm just going to finger press it. And I'm going to look real quick while I'm here. And all those match up pretty good. These are matching up lovely. Great. And man, not so perfect, but it's not more than 1/8 of an inch. So I'm not going to adjust it. Like I said, once I start long arming all this, it will, the stitching will come right into those corners because I already know how I'm going to long arm quilt it. Those stitch marks will come right into those corners and hide any non-matching seams if it's less than 1/8 of an inch and it's seriously like millimeter or less. All right, so I'm going to snip away dog ears because between 3 and 4 there are dog ears. Because those won't pass by my seam guide. So I'm making sure that they're gone. I have no idea, but that is facing the wrong direction. Okay. Go to the opposite side. So this is probably the part that takes just a little bit extra time, is to snip all these darn things away. Now I'm going to lay this whole entire piece on top of that. You see how this is just working well, and I still have not lost all of my pieces are still in the order they belong in, which makes it work out perfect. Wow, I'm really missing. Thank you, T, for the reminder. Where are we at? -5 for your high on Saturday, Jim? That's crazy. No way. I just watched part 1 and back. Well, I told everybody I was going to do it all today. T. Well, not the whole thing. Just these 2 parts today, and then maybe tomorrow will be the next 2 parts. I don't want to be on forever because I watch you tonight. So I want to be able to get a nap before you're on. I just loved you. It's so fun and creative. Watch replays all the time. Sounds like you're really pretty. You do a good job on all this stuff. Mick, thank you. Everyone's saying about weather and stuff. Missed part 1. I've been very busy a few days going through a bunch of stuff to get rid of. Well, it's okay, Joyce. Part 1 is still there. I just recorded it earlier. Missed it. So don't worry. And I'll put the link to part 1 and part 2 and part 2 and part 1. I'll put them in the description below. Not really missing. I'm just kind of scrolling through real quick so I can start sewing. My satellite is iced over. A cable is out. What? It doesn't get anything when the satellite ice is over? That's crazy. Yeah, take me a week to do this. So glad I can save these videos. Yeah, I'm pretty quick. I only need to make 8 of these blocks, so it shouldn't take very long. It's the rest of the quilt that's going to, because that I'm making up as I go. So I will give you the measurements of cutting, you know, the triangles, the half square triangles and the things to piece it together that way. But I am not doing it that way because, like I said, I'm making it up as I go and having fun with it. I definitely like to make things up as I go. I don't like following patterns. I don't like anything that someone else did. I want to do my own thing. And then you guys can do it. I like different stuff. Of course, nobody else is going to have a quilt like this, but still. Only one person. And she's here, hanging out. almost thought I was out of thread. I still have not ran out of thread. That's weird because I did not put a whole bobbin in here. I put a half of a bobbin in here. So I'm just folding these back, making sure that the 1/4 inch is lining up where I want it. And if I have to pull or pull back up or pull back down, it's all landing where I need it to land. And the last piece, and again, you can snip the threads when you get to them. Kind of helps. Kind of doesn't. Same thing. I don't know. Can't really tell. Right there. That's where I want it to land. And here we go. Right off the edge of this. And I have my little V. And my needle landed in that V. So that's a good thing. So again, I'm going to finger press it. Check them. They look amazing. These ones actually look better than the, oh, nope. This one is off more than 1/8 of an inch. So I am going to pull through that and adjust it real quick before I add the next pieces to make it easy on myself. It is off. So I need to pull 2 out because it is off more than 1/8 of an inch. And I don't like that. So I'm going to adjust it real quick. This is probably the part that's taking forever, is when I don't like how they're coming together. But that's okay because I'm not pinning and I don't want to pin. And I only need to make 8 bucks. So it makes it easier for me. Just bypass it and do them as I find them. So I'm picking out a whole entire section between 2 blocks because it adjusted them wrong. It adjusted them wrong. And I picked up at the wrong one. Oops. I meant to do this one. It's fine though. I will get it. I don't know if I can reach in and do this. Come on. I'm literally like running the seam ripper along the inside of the seam. Quite a big section I'm pulling out because I don't like it. I should have showed you what I meant, but oops, I forgot. So I'm going to go this way now because the last time I sewed it this way. Now I'm going to go this way. That way I can adjust it back the opposite way once it's pulled. I want it right there. Or I would want it right there. I think I finally did run out of bobbin. It's a good thing I rolled a few before starting. Oh no, I didn't. The thread just came out. See if I can get it in the hole. Support Tiffy by hitting that thumbs up. Thank you, T. Also share her Etsy store, link in the description. Ooh, look at that. 2 of you, Teresa and T, are both on it, putting that there. And don't forget to join the group. The directions for this, or the cutting directions at least, and the layout directions are in the group. Don't forget that. And make sure that I remind you guys, because that even though, you know, I post finished projects on Instagram, but I don't share the directions for stuff on Instagram. I share that in the group. Join the group, you get the instructions, because I don't write PDFs. So the only way you're going to learn is watching my videos and joining the group. Following along. Unfortunately, because I don't know how to write patterns. I mean, I know how to write them. I'm really sloppy at it. It's not my forte. All right. I don't know why, but this one is still off and I am not picking it a second time. I'm just gonna go this way. I'm not picking it again. I really ain't. I mean, like, look. Let me bring it up to the camera. That's too. I mean, like, it was more than that. Now it's less. But look, that's how off it is. I'm not going to pick it again. It was way bad the first time. It was like way up here. So now it's within the 1/8 of an inch zone. So there we have that. Now I've swapped the whole block around, and now I'm going this direction, which is going to be the same thing both ways. Yeah, so if that one little piece is the one little thing that's off 1/8 of an inch or less this whole entire time, I'm okay with that. Again, this is not a show quilt. This is for a client. So I am not going to worry anymore or stress my little brain out. Oops, and I forgot to snipple the dog ears. Make sure before I continue sewing. I'll leave that there. I got to snip away dog ears and reset this iron because I don't have Mr. Iron Man here either. Nobody to read the comments, nobody to iron. What was I doing before I had Scott in here all the time? Like, seriously. That's funny. Like, I must have been going crazy or something before. I was probably bouncing all over my room, and now I sit at my chair like a normal person. I worry about taking the dog out in the morning, and parking is icy. I don't bounce as well as those. Getting to watch my animals. DB with cottage pie. That's like shepherd's pie, but you use beef instead of lamb. Who's going to see it once it's finished? Exactly. I would never say anything if I didn't see it. Yeah, most people probably won't even see it, even if she shows it off or if I take a picture. Now you're going to hear beeping because the iron is warming itself back up so that I can press this one. And using steam with the pressing will help with that too, that little bump in the road, the little boo-boo. All right, that one looks good. And last seam for this row. Right there's where I want it to land. Oops, don't move. Stay right there. Talk to your fabric, you know, never know, it might listen. All right. That looks good. That looks great. That looks fantastic. That's a little off, and that's fine. Great words for all the different seams, huh? Last one. Again, I got to get rid of all those darn dog ears, and this is totally the wrong. I'm totally just going to bring these over here because these are just too big for this. So I'm just going to snip these darn things away. And again, I didn't lose where anything goes, and that seam, I don't know why, turned itself the wrong direction, but whatever. So I'm just snipping these off. And my piece that connects them are still together. Just snipping next to it. So I'm getting rid of all the dog ears. I don't know why they're called dog ears. We can go with my mom's saying, because it's still funny to this day. And if you guys are new to my channel and never heard it, my mom calls it circumcising the fabric. She does. It's the funniest thing. And I bet some of you just spit your tea out laughing, right? So yeah. It never stuck with me because I'm used to saying dog ears. But yeah, for a while I was being like silly about it because my mom said it that way. And I was like, okay, now it's time to circumcise the fabric, guys. It was kind of funny. My mom could be a hoot sometimes when she's never saying. Okay, so 1/8 of an inch or less off is still perfect in my opinion. for some of you. For me, because I find myself OCD, that is the reason why I point stuff out, because I am OCD and there are others out there that are. So, I mean, if I was to enter this into a quilt show, you know for a fact I would be going back to pick it all. And I did when I did the big, huge Mariner's Compass, Mariner Star quilt. I picked so much because, but that was pieced with that was pieced with sections because they were all the same, and I had to make 24 sections of all the same size. So I was able to strip piece all of it and then subcut and strip piece it all again. So this way is just the individual way. All right, so I'm just peeling them back and looking, making sure I'm good, and it is. And this is last area, and then the rest of all the blocks I will do off screen. You guys have the general idea of the different ways you could put it together. And you only need to make 8 if you are going to do this Lone Star project with me. Just go join the group, get all the supplies that you need, and you can do this. And I'm going to go back through all the starting directions in just a minute. Let me make sure all this is good, 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 great, grand, not so grand, and okay. Let me press this. Let me put the other one up here. I think I'm running out of water in my iron. I'm off screen pressing right now. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be there as soon as I'm done pushing these seams nice and pretty flat. A couple of my seams got flipped accidentally and I don't even know how. That's okay. Why? Because who is going to look inside this quilt? The only time I notice sometimes is long arm quilting it. I'll notice if a seam got flipped because I could feel the lump it's trying to go past. Okay. Lots of steam, lots of steam. Such a nice, pretty block. So now with these 2 pieces complete, I technically have a quarter done. Okay. So let me move piece 1 because you're going to see piece 2 and piece 1 are the exact same. Like literally exactly the same. All right. Okay, let's lay that right there. Turn you guys facing downward. So there's piece 2. So that you can see. I'm going to move all these pieces out of the way momentarily so that I can show you. And I'm also going to go over the instructions of all these pieces. So here is a piece. This is 1/8. Now we're going to lay the 1/8 right here, and I don't know how well you're going to see this, but now I'm going to put the other 1/8 of it, creating a quarter, and this is what's going to happen. Do you see that? So when all 8 of these come together, it's going to create this all the way around. So this is going to go all the way around. And it's going to look really cool. Okay. So while you guys are facing downward, I'm going to hold these up and read it out loud. My letters have every letter A through E except for my W. W is for white. Okay. And I put how much on this chart with my white. I bought 7 yards. I bought that much. Doesn't mean I need that much. I purchase always more than I need just in case, because I'm also adding it to the border. And then the big squares that are going to go here and on the sides, that's going to take up big chunks, like literally going to take big chunks of fabric to create those sections. So just know that you need a lot of yardage for that, for your background fabric, which I've also added into it. For a medium, which I'm considering this a medium right here, we have 2.5 yards of a dark, which is this right here, which is my B, 2.5 yards. My C is main fabric, which is this right here and this right here. That is my C main fabric. I got 4 yards of it, but it's also being used for a border. Then my D, which is the accent print, which is this one right here, this nice pretty sky bluey color. My accent print, I also got 4 yards. Why? Because this is also going to be used in a border, and all the extras are going to go for the things I told you I'm changing up on this. My my D is an accent to, I already said that. My E is a dark, which is this, which is also an accent to my other main color. So if this is my main color and this accents it, my D or E piece accents that piece, the accent color. It accents the accent color, which is also a dark. To make the 4 patches, you cut 6 of W and 6 of D, 1 3/4 inch. So 6 of each. First video shows that. So all 6 sets together with the white and the blue, or your accent fabric and your W. Pair them up and sew them. Refer to the video 1. Then subcut those strips. So when you're making these right here, you would be subcutting this section right here, 1 3/4 inch. So cutting your original strips at 1 3/4. Then your original strips will turn into this. Subcut those to 1 3/4. Hook them together. And together, after making 80 of those, you will make 40 of these, putting them together with your whites. Always remember that your main background, which would be right here and all those other areas, this is also on the sides. Make sure that you're paying attention to that.
It says your client is going to love this,
Oh,
Tiffany.
yes. She's on here, so yes. She's already said it. She watched one. Make sure that you're also pressing those to the dark, because if you're using a white, I have a white on white, but you can still see the blue behind it. And then you make the 4 patch. So you're making 82 patch pieces and then putting it together to create 44 patches. Again, the directions are either in the video 1 and or I posted this exact thing in the group. Then the rest of all the cuts, 45-degree stuff. Here we go. So you cut a bunch of 3-inch strips. For A, you cut 4 strips, subcutting into 32 3-inch diamonds. B, you cut 6 strips, subcut it to 48 diamonds that are 3 inches. Just remember that. And this video, the first video, shows how to cut them. C, you cut 8 strips, subcutting it into 64 diamonds. D, you cut 5 strips that are 3 inches and subcut into 40 diamonds. And then E, you cut 8 strips and subcut it into 64 diamonds. And then layout is that. So all the letters are on the chart. If you want to do this, join the group, get the chart, or follow the videos and pay attention. You can use whatever colors you want. My thing is the way I'm putting it together with the 4 patches in it, as well as all this outside stuff is going to have a different thing too. It won't be a lone star. I mean, it's a lone star, but the star will not be alone. Trust me, it's going to change. And again, I will give you the measurements when we get to that part. So for homework, if you're making this, go ahead and make all 6 more pieces. Or if you're just starting, make all 8. And then video number 3 will be how to assemble all this. And then I'll give you I'll tell you what this measurement cut will be, but I can't show you because I'm doing my own thing, but I will tell you what it's going to be. So that's that. And we're going to be creating this most awesome, awesome Lone Star. So let me turn the camera back up. all this talking has me wanting to cough. Huh? Doesn't that look so cool so far? And I'm not even, I'm only a quarter of the way in.
He was missed, Scott.
Yes, he had to go do something. Anyways, so that's that. All of my pieces, again, are stacked in these little piles. All my 4 patches are together. I know what they are because I wrote it down. So I know that these are A because I wrote that down. I don't need to put a little sticker on here that says these are my A pieces. Also, if you're cutting 3-inch diamonds from like an AccuQuilt or any of those cutting things, it's also, just remember, they'll cut the tips off automatically. So if you're using a template or an AccuQuilt or any of those kind of things, or like a cutting tool, I have a diamond cutting tool, and all of them chop this end off. I'm not chopping this end off because that helps me. You know, I have to get rid of all the dog ears. That helps me. But it also would help you line things up better because you'll be just nesting up the butt to the butt because it won't have these. So the blocks will line up like perfectly. So just remember, that's another way to get accurate blocks. My way is just my way. And I find it quite easy. So just remember, if you haven't yet joined the group, you'll get the instructions there, or screenshot the video, I guess you can do that. Other than that, I will come back when it's time to do the next section. So probably tomorrow if I have more time later today to keep sewing. If not, it'll be the next day. But like I said, I'm starting this week. I started this week and here we go. 2 videos down already. And that's it. Do we have anything else to add? Forget to share my videos. Also, if you get a chance, check out my Etsy shop. I finally put some quilts in it, so check that out. And there'll be bags in it soon, just what I have here to sell, which helps support my channel, so it helps me keep creating. Obviously, this is a client's quilt, so she's paying me to do this, but in general, when I teach you guys, you know, so. And I know a lot of you have been interested in some of my quilts, so there's a way to get them now.
And all subscribers get 5% off. And if you want to just email Tiff or message her on which one you want to buy it straight from us, you guys get 10% off.
Yeah, just remember that. Anyway, all right. I'm going to get off of here, and I will see you guys on video 3 for the Lone Star, and any other videos I do in between, you'll see me. That's if I do them in between. So I might be too tired. Never know. Anyway, and I'll see some of you tonight because T will be on at today's Wednesday, right? Say Wednesday?
Yes. Yes.
At 6, it's 6 my time, 6 her time, 7, 8. 7, 6, 5, 4 my time. I don't know. She'll be on.
It's already 4:30, so
yeah.
Maybe she's already on.
Yeah, well, she was on here earlier, so T will be on. So that's all I know. Sometime today, you guys will get the notification. Anyway,
bye everyone.
I will see you all later, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my videos with your quilty friends, and comment if you're watching the replay.